let's take a look at question number 13 from homework 17. You're going to want to, even though you don't know it now, if you're looking to this one for help, you're going to want to look at the question 6 video first. If you are comfortable doing question 6, this is the exact same question. It's just written a little bit differently, okay? So if you're not comfortable with question 6, go get comfortable with that before you come look at this one. So for question 13, they are telling us that there's a function and they've got a slope of a tangent line to that graph at any point is equal to 9x squared minus 4x plus 5. Okay? They're also telling us that the function passes through the point 1, 7. Okay? So if you think back to when we first learned about derivatives, we talked about how there are lots of different ways to say derivative. Lots of things mean derivative. You know, we have rate of change as a derivative. One of those things was the slope of the tangent line. That's a word problem, secret word for derivative. So what they're saying is that f prime of x, the derivative of whatever this function is equal to 9x squared minus 4x plus 5. So we've got a derivative, and when we say that it goes through this point, that just means that f of 1 equals 7. That if you find 1 on this particular, on the graph of this particular function, that the value that it spits out is going to be 7. Your y is 7. So we have exactly the two pieces that we had in question number 6. We've got a derivative and we have an initial value that we can use once we have our original function. Okay? So now let's get the original function back. So we want to find f of x, this function, and it's just going to be the integral of the derivative. We just need to kind of work backwards from the derivative. So we need the integral of 9x squared minus 4x plus 5. And that's with respect to x. Okay? So let's just take that integral. No big deal. 9 times x cubed over 3. I just raised the exponent by 1 and copied it exactly into the denominator. Minus 4 times x squared over 2. Same idea. Plus 5x plus c. Okay, we can simplify that a bit, so let's go ahead and do that as long as we can. That's going to give us 3x cubed minus 2x squared plus 5x plus c. All right? So that's our f of x. We've got it. We have almost everything we need. The only thing we're missing is what on earth is this c? Well, if you remember from question 6, all we need to do to solve for c, since we have f of x here, this is f of x, let's figure out what f of 1 is. They're telling us f of 1 equals 7, so let's just plug a 1 in for everything, set it equal to 7, and see if we can't figure out what c is. All right, so 3 times 1 cubed minus 2 times 1 squared plus 5 times 1 plus c equals, and they're telling us that that equals 7. That's what they gave us, okay? This one's pretty simple. Yours might not have a 1, so it might be just a little bit more arithmetic-y than mine, but basically this is telling us that 3 minus 2 plus 5 plus c equals 7, okay? So we have 3 minus 2 is 1, plus 5 plus c equals 7. Simplify that just a little bit further. We've got 6 here, a 7 here. Subtract the 6, c equals 1. Okay? So we know what our c is. So now we can rewrite our f of x exactly as it is, the exact f of x that they're looking for. So we already knew it was 3x cubed. We already knew it was minus 2x squared plus 5x. The only thing we didn't know was what c was, and now we know that c equals 1, so it's plus 1. And that is the answer that you will put into WebAssign. So go over that one more time. They gave us the formula for a slope of a tangent line, which we know because we remember from before that that's just the same as saying the derivative. And they also gave us a point that the function went through. That's the same as saying that the function at 1, if x equals 1, the value of the function is 7. So f of 1 equals 7. This went from being a word problem to being problem 6 that we had earlier. Take a look at that again if you don't quite get what we're doing here. Okay? Okay, so we need to find f of x. That means we just need to take the integral of the derivative. We take the integral, we come up with this simplified version here, but we've kind of got a problem that we have a c hanging out here that we don't quite know what to do with, okay? It's not an exact answer until we know what that c is. So to find the c, we look back up here where we have f of 1 equals 7, and we're just going to plug in a 1 for each one of our x's, and then solve for c. So plug in a 1 for each one of the x's, that equals 7. We just said that if you take f of x, plug in 1, it's going to equal 7. Do the math, solve for c, and that gives you the last piece of the puzzle that you need. So whatever you found earlier in your antiderivative, you're going to copy that down, and then instead of c, we know that c equals 1, and so you're going to put that 1 in as well.